my story, Chasing Rainbows. Chapter 7, Parenthood. March 1907. Jess often visited Sarah in the months that followed her daughter's birth. During this time, Jess had told Sarah how she had become involved with Joseph Parker, and although the kindly woman had been somewhat astonished by this revelation, she did not think any less of Jess, given the circumstances. They visited Father O'Hara and had the child christened Louisa Flanagan. Although the father had been somewhat reluctant at first to perform the ceremony, he had given in when he understood the circumstances. He was a kindly man and helped Jess to find reception work in the doctor's surgery in Staverton. Sarah offered to take care of little Louisa while she worked, for which Jess was extremely grateful. Jess only worked 4 mornings a week, so she did not feel she was imposing on Sarah's good nature. Besides, Sarah insisted that she loved looking after Louisa, and the baby was no trouble at all. However, as time progressed, Louisa proved to be quite a handful, and Sarah was often weary when Jess came to collect her daughter. As the child grew into an active toddler, it became obvious that she was turning into a strong-willed little madam. She would throw a tantrum if she couldn't do as she pleased, and seemed to delight in covering herself in sticky jam or honey when she ate the dainty sandwiches Jess offered her. Often Jess would throw her hands up in desperation as she tried to teach Louisa table manners. "We will make a little lady of you yet," Jess would say with some apprehension as she watched her daughter attempt to feed herself. Louisa always finished up covered in jam or porridge, and Jess would sigh. However, as the child approached her 3rd birthday, she began to grow out of her temper tantrums, and her table manners were much improved. In fact, she now wanted to help her mamma to make cakes or pastries. True enough, the dough often ended up grey before it was ever baked. Jess would chuckle as she watched her daughter's comical expressions as she concentrated on kneading the pastry. She could not help but be amused. So life continued in this pattern for some time, and all was well on the surface. Yet in her heart, Jess still yearned for what could never be. Sarah occasionally still did some dressmaking for the local ladies. Sometimes she asked Jess to give her some assistance. The young woman was only too glad to oblige. After all, she could never repay Sarah and Albert for their kindness in her hour of need. Were it not for their prompt assistance, she shuddered to think what the consequences might have been. One afternoon in late March, Sarah was dispatching some finished work to a certain lady, who of course took part in all of the local events and knew all of the latest news. While Sarah was seated in the hall, waiting to speak to Mrs. Price Newton, she overheard voices. 2 young parlourmaids were busy arranging flowers down at the far end of the hall. "'Tis going to be a grand affair, I can tell you, Jenny. Cook says goodness knows how many is to attend the wedding." There was a stifled giggle. "And I've heard some of the guests are travelling from as far afield as Liverpool." The young maid nudged the other girl's arm. "'Tis all right for some, eh, Rosie? Bet they'll all be dressed up to the nines," replied Jenny. This was followed by more giggles as the maid's footsteps clattered down the back staircase. Sarah was intrigued as she wondered who was to be wed. She soon found out, as Mrs. Price Newton made a special request of her. "I know it's asking a great deal of you, Sarah, but I'm really in a bit of a fix. As you may be aware, my youngest niece is to be married in early May. You had not heard?" Sarah shook her head. "Well, it's to be a lavish event, and I'm afraid it's been rather left to me to organise extra catering staff for the occasion. The wedding itself is to take place in Staverton Church, and there are to be a great many guests. Some are travelling from the north of England. Do you think young Jess Flanagan and yourself could help organise the catering?" Sarah was rather taken back with this request. However, she found herself saying, "Of course, madam, it will be a pleasure on my part, and I'm sure Jess will be more than obliged to help." "Thank you so much. I promise you will both be rewarded well." Mrs. Price Newton could scarcely conceal her relief. She knew she could trust Sarah not to let her down. Had Sarah been aware of the emotional turmoil that was about to evoke, she would have thought twice before agreeing to help. But then, how was she to know?